when you made the bet, the $1 million Bitcoin price in 90 days, help unpack. In that bet, are you saying hyperinflation in the United States, or are you saying no, whether hyperinflation or not, people are going to start to exit and therefore they are going to buy Bitcoin and it will push the price to $1 million in 90-day period? Like, how do you think about, let's go through kind of, if your vision of what is about to happen occurs, what does that world look like over the next 90 days?
What I think is so the reason I did the bet was to get people to the Bitcoin lifeboat. Buy Bitcoin, get your keys off exchanges, get to a Bitcoin friendly jurisdiction. That is the message. Buy Bitcoin, get your keys off exchanges, get to a Bitcoin friendly jurisdiction. Everything else I say is a rationale for that, right? But that's what the message I'm getting out there is. I'm basically burning money to do this. It is not something that the thing is, I believe in Bitcoin, but I also believe in the public good. And that's going to be something that's in short supply in what follows. If what I'm saying is correct, and I believe it is, that the central banks and like the US government has betrayed people on this level, right? Such that they just blew up huge amounts of people's savings, okay? And you couldn't even trust the banks. I mean, like, obviously you knew you couldn't trust the banks, quote unquote, in 2008, but the degree to which, it's like the South Park episode, hey, blah, 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 it's gone, right? You know that thing, right? That's literally what we're talking about. Or like, South American kind of bank. You trust a South American bank? Now, maybe in this century you do. The flippening, just like it was from like Russia to China, like China is now the senior partner, or from Britain to India, India is now the senior partner. It's quite possible that in this century, it's like, this is South America's time to shine because they understand currency crises. They understand the value of Bitcoin. El Salvador's model is now something that you could export over, South America. You could have, who knows what happens and what follows. I actually think Bukele becomes a pretty important person in the world, actually. El Salvador might become one of the richest countries in the world with all the Bitcoin they've got if this happens. Okay. But basically what I did was most people were not, this financial crisis was creeping up like a panther or like a cloud enveloping people. They weren't even aware of it. It was just, it invested so much in stealth mode that whether, people were just sleepwalking, it just wasn't a topic of conversation and so on. Now, this is something that's cut through the noise and everybody is aware that there is a financial crisis on and that the banks don't have your money, that the money is gone, right? And that you should probably exchange some of it into Bitcoin, and you should do that sooner rather than later because you don't know. We all don't know. It's just hard to predict timing on anything. But they have announced the July launch of the CBDC, and that feels like as good a deadline as any. They've been killing the crypto rails, right? They killed Signature. They killed Silvergate. There aren't that many ways out. And so what I wanted to do was say, get Bitcoin, get your friends and family to get Bitcoin, get your coins off exchanges, and do that now because they might close the doors. They might bar the exit. Now, the good thing is they won't be able to bar it worldwide because the US doesn't have control over all banks worldwide anymore. There's like UAE and Saudi and so on, but they still do have control over quite a big chunk of it. And, one way of thinking about it is, I was born an American and I'm doing this because I actually love American values. Paul Revere, the printing is coming, right? The printing is coming. That's literally what we're talking about, right? The printing is coming. This is another American analogy. This is a digital Pearl Harbor on all dollar holders. The dollar holder is the bag holder. Okay. And I mean that literally. What's funny is, the funny thing about this is I sound now like the most intense maximalist ever, right? I don't know what.
Yeah, you do. But the reason why I'm laughing is because what you're saying is actually very little to do with Bitcoin. Right? Like
yes.
You are basically looking at the traditional financial system and you are saying there are major problems here. And I don't give a shit if you care about Bitcoin or you don't care about Bitcoin, but you have to identify what the problems are and then make the decisions for yourself. Oh, by the way, I, Balaji, believe that Bitcoin is the best solution, but some other people may go buy real estate or buy whatever asset that they think is better. But first you have to get them to identify the problem before they even begin to think about a potential solution.